Sorry about that. Alright, so here we are. It's the day of the festival. The preparations for the event should be nearly complete, given all the work everyone's put in over the weekend. So you guys know what this means. You've read the title. I just read out the first line for you. It's the day of the festival. This is it. This is where we find out how different this game truly is. And I'm scared, honestly, considering how Sayori was still acting and how I've spent absolutely no time with her outside of the absolute requirements. I do believe that there might still be a possibility that she offed herself, which I hope not. But I'm just saying it's still possible, and I am nervous. But really, not much we can do about it other than progress and find out for ourselves. So, let's see. The banner Yuri and I painted is dry. I gently rolled it up to take it with me. She sent me a pleasant text reminding me not to forget anything, and I reassured her. I smile, putting my phone away. Her personality even shows through her texts. Funnily enough, I probably feel the same way as Natsuki about the event. I'm excited for it to be over so I can spend time with Yuri at the festival. Now again, normally, because during the weekend you have to check on Sayori no matter what. So normally the text says with Yuri and Sayori. And they've just pulled Sayori completely out of the picture this time, which makes me even more worried that something might happen to her. I'm nervous. But knowing Monica, I'm sure the event will be great too. It's been a while though. Where's Sayori? Yes! Thank you! We're meant to walk together, but she's late again. Check on her! Please! I don't want to leave her behind, but if she takes much longer, I'm going to be late for school. More time passes, there's going to be a moment of decision soon if she doesn't arrive. Just as I'm getting ready to leave, I finally spot her slowly making her way down the street. Oh my god! She's alive! Sayori is alive! We're safe! Everything's fine. Sayori is alive, the day of the festival has come. Oh my god, my nervousness is just completely melting away right now. Just the fact that it's the day of the festival and she's still alive. I've been waiting for this, I've been hoping that she would still be alive, but actually seeing the game confirm it. She's carrying a large sack in her hands and I'm surprised she isn't running over to me. Isn't she aware of how late she is? Probably not. Sayori, where have you been? We could have been late for school. Same old Sayori. And she's not dead. But you know what this means? It's time for me to completely hate on my vocal cords again. So here we go. Oh god, what voice did Sayori have again? I always forget her voice. It's probably just... but it was probably the most generic one out of all of them. I'm sorry. I know, sorry. I, overslept again? I couldn't decide what to have for breakfast again. She immediately pouts. You're such a meanie sometimes. You know my teasing is all good and in good fun, right? She mumbled something under her breath. Of course! She looks like she's back to her normal self again. A definite relief. Especially if you know how this day normally goes. I felt a little guilty in not spending Sunday with her, but then again, it was probably wise to give her space. Then again, Yuri also needed help. I pointed to the sack she's carrying, which contains an assortment of colorful little gift bags. Are those the gift bags you were working on over the weekend? Yep. I managed to get everything we need. Candy, quotes, and bookmarks. It was a lot of fun. Although it was kinda hard to stop myself from eating the sweets. And did you manage it? People won't notice if a sweet or two goes missing, right? I can't help but laugh. That's such a Sayori thing to say and do. I'm glad you're feeling better, Sayori, and I'm glad you're still alive. And I'm sorry if I was a bit too invasive on Friday. I just worry a lot, that's all. It's okay, Code, it really is. It's sweet that you were concerned. But yeah, I'm fine. It was just a little rain cloud. Although I'm kinda nervous for the festival. Honestly, I don't blame you for that. It's kinda nerve-wracking, isn't it? I mean, I know how much it means to Monica, but at the same time, I didn't really realize how intimidating reciting poetry to a bunch of strangers can be. Yeah, I was all for it back in the club room. But now that the actual day is here... She looks a little nervous. I reach over and give her a squeeze on the shoulder. We'll be fine, don't worry. I know how much you like poetry, plus your poems are great. I just hope my own performance is up to standard. Oh, don't be silly, Code. I love your poem, I just know it. I chuckle, admiring the definite optimism that really makes Sayori, well, Sayori. Guess we'll find out. By the way, are you doing anything after the festival? Anything fun? Nope, I haven't really planned that far ahead. I'm not great at doing that anyway. I'm kinda hoping we finish early, so we can have the rest of the day off, to be honest. So, what you're really saying is that you just want to go home and sleep, right? Oh, look how many students there are! How many clubs are having their own little event today? What a tactical change of topic that was. Our school is inside and there's a lot of students milling around. It's a little strange to think that there are so many fellow students around, yet I've still been feeling so lonely. Or at least before joining the literature club. Times like these make me grateful that Sayori told me about it. The club in the first place. Again, proofreading. I hope that probably gets patched out at some point. Who knows, maybe there's an update of the mod already. I haven't checked for any updates since I started playing this. Maybe there already was an update where someone proofread and fixed these little mistakes, but I wouldn't know. I don't know, probably quite a few. By the way, Sayori. What's up, Code? I just wanted to say, well, no matter how this festival goes, I'm really grateful you told me about the club and let me join. I've had a lot of fun so far. I scratched the back of my head nervously as Sayori looks curiously at me. I've never been good at expressing myself, and it probably shows. I guess what I'm trying to say is, thank you. It's been so fun to be able to spend time with you again, too. It really takes me back. You don't have to thank me for anything, silly. I enjoyed it too. After all, it would be lovely if things could go back to how they used to. How they used to? What do you mean? Oh, nothing. Strange choice of words. What could she mean by this? As we enter the courtyard and make our way to our meeting room, she breaks the silence by giggling. Something funny? I just thought of a way to steal one of Natsuki's cupcakes without her realizing. Are you sure that's a good idea? Natsuki might be little, but you know better than I do that she can be really fiery. Oh, don't worry about her. She might seem a bit mean on the outside, but she's harmless. Don't let her fool you. Speaking of Natsuki, I think my Sayori voice got a little bit into Natsuki territory, like the... Well, I don't know about... Okay, no. Natsuki is still much more annoying. Well, I'd rather her than me. I don't recognize this music. Okay, it's just another remix of the main theme. Okay. Of your reality, I mean. Okay, Monica voice. Come on, vocal cords, don't fail me now. It's a happy day. I gotta stay positive here. Code, Sayori. It's good to see you guys. Do you wanna come and give me a hand? Monica is placing little booklets on each of the desks in the classroom. They must be the ones she prepared that have all the poems we're performing. In the end, I found a random poem online that I thought Monica would like and submitted it. So, that's the one I'll be performing. Hey, do you guys want to check out the pamphlets? They came out really nice. Yeah, sure. I put down the banner I'm holding and grab one of the pamphlets laid out on the desk. Oh yeah, they really did. They look really pretty. Something like this will definitely help people take the club more seriously. Yeah, I thought so too. I flip through the pages. Each member's poem is neatly printed on its own page, giving it an almost professional feel. I recognize the girls' poems from the ones they've performed during our practice. Just then Natsuki bursts into the room carrying a box that positively towers over her. Yuri trails in behind her, clutching at a large duffel bag nervously. Alright, it's festival time? Wow, you guys got here before me? I thought it was pretty early. I'm sorry for being the last one here. I'm glad that some preparation is already underway though. It should take less time to set everything up this way. Yeah, let's work together, everyone. Okay, that sounded much... The tone sounded too much like Natsuki, but I guess... never mind. I can't do the voices perfect every time. That's one of the downsides of playing a game with a mostly female cast, when you're not female. Natsuki unpacks her box and reveals 4 trays of cupcakes, stacked carefully on top of each other. Code? I jump at the sudden outburst. Yes? Help me lay out these cupcakes? Then, if you wouldn't mind, Sayori, can you help me with these? Yuri gestures at her bag, to which Sayori nods cheerfully. I help Natsuki with her cupcakes while Yuri and Sayori start putting up decorations. Now I'm curious. If I had gone the Natsuki route, would I be hanging out with Yuri now? Because that's kind of interesting. Then again, I don't think Yuri would be the type to just be this assertive, so it's probably just always this way. That's my guess anyway. I could be completely wrong here. I help Natsuki with her cupcakes while Yuri and Sayori start putting up decorations. Meanwhile, Monica continues putting down pamphlets. It's in long before Natsuki has carefully arranged her cupcakes in a neat formation. Each cupcake is topped with white icing and some kanji written in a variety of different colored frostings. Wow, these look really good. Great idea to make them literature club themed as well, Natsuki. Yeah, it was a good idea, huh? I wrote down words that specifically have to do with poetry and our poems too. She picks up a cupcake to show me. See, this one says create. Huh? Isn't that the kanji for use? Eh? As Natsuki furiously checks over the rest of her cupcakes to look for more miswritten characters, I glance over at Sayori and Yuri. Wow, Sayori. But oh my god, now I'm mixing up their names too. What is wrong with me? Why can't I keep Natsuki and Sayori apart from each other? I know who they are, but my voice just kind of... The voices just kind of mix sometimes, and now I'm mixing up the names. Please trust me, I know who each one of them is. I have separated them in my mind, but I guess something's just wrong. Yeah, so let's hope that she actually knows what she's doing and hasn't written some questionable stuff on these cupcakes. As Natsuki furiously checks over the rest of the cupcakes to look for more miswritten characters, I glance over at Sayori and Yuri. Yuri's on the floor painting her inspirational quote on the banner in white paint. I guess she figured out where I put the banner herself. Meanwhile, Sayori's hung up the kanji curtain in the doorway and is puzzling over the essential oil setup. A good writer possesses not only his own spirit, but also the spirit of his friends. Yes, it's a quote by the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Seems like a fitting quote. Yes, I thought it would summarize our experiences in the club quite well. I'm finished with the lettering, so if you wouldn't mind, Code. That is, could you help hold my chair steady as I pin this up? Of course. Yuri pulls out a chair to the front of the classroom and climbs onto it, teetering slightly. Wasn't there a scene similar to this in the original? It's probably in this game too, but I just haven't seen it, because to see that scene you have to hang out with Natsuki. You know a scene where Natsuki is on the chair and she accuses me for looking up her skirt? That sort of stuff. She grips the banner tightly in her hands as she reaches up to attach it to the wall. The chair gives a threatening wobble, but luckily I managed to steady it. It's okay, Yuri, I've got you. You don't have anything to worry about. Thank you. Is it just me, or does she look like she's starting to blush now? I feel my cheeks begin to heat up as well. I didn't say anything weird, did I? When I help her down from the chair after she's finished, she looks more bashful than ever. Man, how do I always make things so awkward? It looks like all the preparations are almost finished now. I feel like there's something missing though. Suddenly I notice a large bag sitting forlornly by itself on, to the side. That's Sayori's, isn't it? Sayori, did you forget to set up your part? Did I? I did! She rushes over to the bag and quickly empties it out. It's full of small colorful bags tied shut with thin ribbons. Ah! Don't worry, I'll help you. We start organizing the goodie bags in neat rows on the desks closest to the door. I peek inside one of them as we do so. You can take it back if you want. Inside the bag I find candy, stickers, inspirational quotes from poems, and some sort of cardstock and bookmarks. Looks like there's a good mix of things in here. I chose only the best candy for the festival. And the best quotes. And the best bookmarks as well. You betcha! We laugh as we finish up our task. I take a bag, fish out a candy and pop it into my mouth. Sayori really does have good taste. The chocolate and toffee seems to melt on my tongue. Can I have one too, Code? I can't resist those puppy dog eyes. Thanks, you're the best! It's so cheery. Oh! This is so cheery when you compare it to the original. No one's dead, everyone's happy, everyone's having fun. How is this possible? I mean, I like it, but how is it possible? I mean, I don't even know what else to say here. By the time we finish, it looks like everyone else is done too. Actually seeing how it would look if they actually did the setup. Also, they put actual candles in here. Did they? The classroom is now darkened and lit up by the ambient lighting of the candles. Okay. I mean, candlelight sure is what was intended with the lighting, but it's still kind of odd. They could have come up with an alternative that isn't a potential fire hazard, but what do I know? Considering how many candles there are and how many people are just walking around, I don't know if having a potential fire hazard like that around is the best idea. Then again, as I've said, what do I know? A delicate floral scent wafts through the air, courtesy of Yuri's essential oils. Sayori and I head towards the other three girls who are huddled near the front of the classroom murmuring to each other. Is it about time to start yet? Or they even have darkened versions of the sprites. Huh. Almost. We wrote that we were going to start at 10 AM on our posters, and that's in 10 minutes. Are people actually going to show up for this? Don't be so negative. Some people have shown up already, and I'm sure that moment will file in soon. You guys don't have to be worrying so much about it. I've got full faith in all of you. I've seen all your poems. It's been amazing watching each and every one of you find and nurture your unique writing styles. She smiles encouragingly at each of us. To her credit, her words are helpful, even though I haven't been part of this club for as long as the other three. Even Code? Sayo and Moni. Nice shortening here. Natsuki? It was just a joke, jeez. Thought some humor would lighten the mood? Sorry. Just trying to make sure everyone's in their best frame of mind before we start. Oh god. It's okay, Monica. We all understand and appreciate that. Yeah, we know how much this club means to you. We want it to be a success just as much as you do. Couldn't have put it better myself. Even though I've only been in the club for a few days, I've felt really at home. Truth be told, I used to be kinda lonely. Knowing that I'm included in something with people like you guys always makes me feel better. I haven't told anyone about how lonely I've been feeling. I'm a little nervous about how they'll react. They all turn to me, varying degrees of emotion on their faces. Natsuki impassively looks to the side, while Sayori and Yuri give me an expression of concern. Oh, Code, I had no idea you felt that way. I'm sorry. I really hope we can change that. But I'm so happy that you feel welcome here too. It's exactly what we wanted. I agree. No one should feel alone. I know it's quite a difficult thing to experience. I feel a warm flush of gratitude at her words. Thanks, guys. That means a lot. Also, Monica, I told Sayori this earlier, but I figured you might appreciate hearing this. Well, no matter how the festival goes, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. Thanks to you guys, that lonely feeling has disappeared. You've all been so welcoming and accepting, and believe me, I'm really appreciative of that. So, even if this event doesn't go quite as planned, I just know that I really love it here, and I'm so glad Sayori told me about this club. If others don't like what we have here, well, it's their loss, right? The girls nod in agreement, smiling at me. I had no idea my words would have such an impact, but I'm glad they did in the end. It feels rewarding to be able to give back to the club for a change. Monica turns to me, eyes shining with appreciation. Thank you, Thank you, Code. You're right. Hearing those words from a newcomer really makes me feel like I've succeeded in my goal as president. After all, I wanted to create a place where people can feel comfortable and share literature, and what you've just said makes me feel like it was all worth it. She turns to face the others. See, guys? See, guys? Oh, what's wrong right now? See, guys? What? Hang on, I need to drink something. I did her voice a second ago, why can't I do it now? See, guys? If you could show Code how amazing this club is to say we can show the other students the same thing. Don't see them as strangers, see them as potential club members. She's definitely got an inspiring way with words. Oh god, is that that one new girl that the mod added, is she gonna join the club? It's possible. She's definitely got an inspiring way with words. Yeah, good thinking, Monica. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, but if they say anything bad about my cupcakes, I'm gonna kill them. Yuri giggles softly. I won't lie to you, I'm still quite nervous, but after hearing what you've said, Code, I realize there might be other lonely people out there. This club would be the perfect place for them. Yeah, we might even find more manga enthusiasts. That's the spirit. Now let's go and show the rest of the school just what the literature club is made of. As if on cue, a few people wander into the room, curiously looking around the room. Monica confidently walks over and greets them. And so, it begins. Monica and Sayori have greeted the newcomers and settled them in desks throughout the classroom. Some people are already helping themselves to cupcakes, and I notice Natsuki keeping an eye on them. Meanwhile, Yuri is nervously looking through a pamphlet. I can see her soundlessly mouthing the words to her poem. Now that I think about it, I should be getting some extra practice in as well. Before I can do so, Monica heads towards us with Sayori in tow. Showtime, everyone. Let's do it, guys! Time to get this over with! I can do this. We group up and stand together at the front of the classroom. Monica steps up to the podium, clears her throat, drawing the room's attention to her. Okay,
Okay everyone. Welcome to the Literature Club's poetry performance. My name is Monica, as some of you may know.
Some girl sitting in the front of the classroom wave at her.
And I'm the president of the club. Accompanying me is the vice president Sayori. Hi guys! And the rest of our club members, Yuri, Natsuki, and last but certainly not least, Code.
We all wave back at the students with varying degrees of enthusiasm.
I hope that you'll all enjoy our poetry and that we'll be able to help contribute to a memorable festival. The literature is amazing in its ability to connect us to the human condition. And we really hope that this event will help encourage others to start participating as well. Our club will gladly welcome any new members, from those who love words and writing as well, to anyone who's simply just curious and wants to learn more. After the scheduled performances, we'll be opening up the stage for anyone else who wants to perform, so don't be shy. And now, without further ado, I'll be starting with my poem, The Way They Fly.
Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri and I head off to settle down in the frontmost desks, saving the seat at the end for Monica. She stands there, alone, yet still radiating confidence. After flashing a smile and a wink at us, she begins. Each word is crystal clear and exudes emotion. Somehow, her recitation is even better than it was only a few days ago. She must have practiced hard to try and to achieve perfection. The classroom is silent at first, drinking in her words. After a few moments, however, some whispering starts up in the back of the classroom. I guess that's inevitable, but it still doesn't make it any less annoying. I exchange a look with Natsuki, who rolls her eyes at the disruptions. Sayori pats my head and gives me an encouraging smile. She's comforting as always. As Monica's poem progresses, more and more people wander in. Normally this would be a good thing, but they're making a lot of noise. Thankfully they simmer down once they realize Monica is speaking. But the damage has already been done. She reaches the end of her poem, the last few words resonating in the classroom. A round of applause fills the room, and Monica beams at everyone, patiently waiting for them to finish.
Thank you for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my poem and that it gave you some flavor of what this club is like. For newcomers, welcome. We're just in the midst of showing you all our poems.
For the benefit of those who just joined, she quickly reintroduces everyone.
Anyway, up next is Natsuki. Take it away.
Natsuki stumbles slightly as she makes her way to the front of the class. I guess the nerves are really getting to her. Doesn't help that someone sniggers, causing her to turn and glare at them. Sayori seems to notice too, as she hastens to shoot Natsuki a reassuring smile. Natsuki stands at the front of the classroom, with her poem in hand, slight traces of irritation still visible on her face.
Anyway, so my poem's called Jump.
She takes a deep breath and begins her recital. Just as I was hoping, she's able to interject her trademark bouncy style into the performance, bringing the words to life. She doesn't quite radiate the confidence Monica did, but her unique style shines through, giving the poem a flow and rhythm. While simple, it's effective. My heart sinks as I start picking up on the newcomers having their own conversations in the back of the room. I'm hit with a surge of anger. How can they be so inconsiderate? It's clear that they aren't paying any attention, and from the pause and change in Natsuki's tone, she's clearly picked up on it as well. Why can't they just save their stupid selfish conversation for after our performance? Her poem comes to an end, but unlike Monica's, there's a slight awkward moment of silence. Once again, there's a round of applause, but it's clear that the audience's engagement isn't quite as strong. Of course. The one that doesn't get the engagement right away is the one who gets angry the fastest. Hooray.
Great performance, Natsuki. I really like the rhythm of that poem.
Natsuki forces a smile button and makes her way to her seat. It's clear that she's upset.
Anyway, our Vice President Sayori is next to perform. Hi everyone! I hope you like my poem.
She cheerily skips up to the front, poem in hand. As she turns to face us, she looks a little nervous, fidgeting slightly. Also, I just remembered something, because I mentioned the new characters earlier, and that one of them might join. I do remember that I was kind of worried that the new girl's voice would be kind of similar to Sayori's, because she's also like the happy type. So that's kind of worrying me that I won't be able to take those, you know, have these two voices be separate, that they just will blend into each other more so than any before. But I also noticed that the new characters haven't appeared since the very first stream. They showed up before we got introduced to the club, and so they showed up in the very beginning before we even got introduced to the club, and not once since then. But I'm guessing that now that Act 2 has pretty much begun, that they might start reappearing soon. That's just my guess. Because Act 1, as I've said before, was a retelling of the original game, and obviously these characters didn't appear there, so I guess that's why we haven't seen them since the beginning. But then again, why add them in the very beginning if you're just gonna completely forget they exist for the entire act and then reintroduce them after? It's kind of weird, but I guess can't be avoided. Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's okay, sorry.
It's okay, Sayori. Just remember what we've practiced. I've got full faith in you.
Yeah, you've got this.
That was called My Meadow.
She begins her poem, her soft voice guides us through the recital, and there's a remarkable contrast between her cheerful inflection and the more bittersweet nature of the words. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice people casually flicking cupcake wrappers onto the floor, along with candy wrappers lying on the tables. Worse still, the talking is getting louder and more noticeable. Monica looks around at the perpetrators, frowning at them. One of the students lets out a loud yawn, making absolutely no effort to hide it. Other students pick up one of the quotes and nudges their friend. They both frown and laugh at the message, and I get the horrible feeling it's more the mocking kind of laugh. At this point, I'm seeing red. If we weren't in school, I would have punched these inconsiderate pricks by now. The music is off. There's just something off about the music right now. I mean, I'm gonna shut up for a moment so you can hear it. Where is it? No? Maybe I'm imagining it, but no, something feels off about the music right now. Especially earlier. You can't tell me that the music doesn't feel off anyway. I'm just gonna continue. No one should be this rude to Sayori. She's probably the sweetest person I've... It feels like these off notes are purposefully interrupting me right now. She's probably the sweetest person I've ever met. Despite the now obvious disruptions, she's still trying her best and is making a real effort to continue. To her credit, her performance is still commendable. She manages to work the contrast of her enunciation against the words in her favor. It adds an interesting depth to the poem. I'd love to see more of this side to her. She brings her performance to a close, hands shaking slightly.
Lovely poem, Sayori. You really brought that one to life. Thank you.
Something's off with her voice. It's like how she was on Friday. Monica stands up, turning to address everyone in the room.
Just a polite reminder that it would be much appreciated if everyone could give our poets some respect while they're performing.
Monica looks stern while Natsuki looks positively furious.
Thank you. Now the stage is all yours, Yuri.
Yuri's looking terrified at this point. Sayori gives her a reassuring squeeze and I lean over, whispering into her ear. You've got this, Yuri. Just pretend like it's only me, Natsuki, Sayori, and Monica.
I can't do this, Code.
Yes, you can. I believe in you. I've seen how passionate you can become when you talk about Portrait of Markov. I loved that. I loved seeing that side of you. Besides, like you said, this club could be the perfect place for any of these people. We just don't know it yet. She swallows nervously, nodding at my words. You know, it really is kind of annoying that I guess it is commonplace to just chat, but in this case, if you're gonna chat, You should probably just leave the room and go somewhere else if you're not interested in what's going on anyway. Oh well.
Okay, thank you.
She rises to her feet, poem clasped firmly to her chest, and avoiding eye contact with everyone as she walks up. Her eyes flick up to glance at the classroom when she gets on stage, although she quickly ducks her head back down to look at her poem on the podium.
This poem is titled After Image of a Crimson Eye.
Her voice quivers as she starts, but unlike her recitation a few days ago, the meek and trembling version of Yuri remains well into the poem. She determinedly forges ahead, but I can tell that she's not enjoying it in the slightest. The rest of the classroom, momentarily subdued by Monika's words, soon begins to grow louder again. After a few lines of her poem, they are even more unruly than before. The crinkling of wrappers fills the air, and at a few points Yuri is almost drowned out by others' voices. I catch a few people getting up and leaving the classroom, but by the slight hitch in her voice it seems that Yuri's seen them as well. Again, it's better if they leave the classroom rather than just sitting there and talking over everyone. Maybe that's just my opinion. It's still kind of insulting to leave during someone's performance in this case, I guess. But then again, would you rather have them talk over you? I don't think so. Her eyes stay glued to her poem now, and it looks like she's trying her hardest to ignore everyone. One boy quietly wolf whistles at Yuri, causing her to jump and lower her head even more. She's practically shaking like a leaf. This is absolutely disgusting behavior, and I open my mouth to say something. Suddenly Natsuki stands up, a loud scraping noise from her pushing away. Natsuki stands up, a loud scraping noise pushing away from the desk, drawing the attention of the students. Can you all just shut up? I'm really freaking sick of this. How can you guys be so rude? We're trying our best to show you something amazing here, and we're just going to stomp all over our hard work like that? Unbelievable. I can't even understand how people can be this arrogant and just plain terrible. I didn't want to interrupt you, Yuri, but I can't stand it anymore. You just might as well leave if you're not going to hang on a moment. You just might as well leave if you aren't even going to pretend to pay attention. There's complete silence for a beat. Of course. Hey, it's a male character. Hooray. Only came for the food anyway, let's go guys. Once this boy speaks up and begins to lead his friends away, one by one more students start to follow them out the door. I throw a panic look around to Monika, who is holding a strange stiff expression on her face. Looks like she's struggling to stay calm for everyone. After a few moments, there's barely anyone left. Yuri meanwhile quietly begins speaking again, but her voice is barely audible. There's just a stifling silence accompanying her words. When he finishes, a meek smattering of applause sounds from the few who are left. She unsteadily steps down from the stage, a blank look on her face. She won't look at any of us either. I'm worried about her.
Okay.
Monika's voice cracks as she speaks up. She's still trying her best to see us through this. I don't think any of us could have predicted that it would turn out this way.
Thank you, Yuri. You did wonderfully. I'm sincerely sorry for all the disruptions and sheer arrogance you had to endure. Those kinds of people really are the worst. To those who are left, I want to thank you all for staying and apologize as well. This is definitely not a normal occurrence for the Literature Club, I assure you. Well, let's finish this off with code then.
With a heavy heart, I slowly get up and walk onto the stage. When I get to the podium, I am appalled by the sight of the classroom. Candy and cupcake wrappers are strewn across the floor, and quote cards lay tossed about, with many of the cards now featuring shoe prints over the words. The remnants of goodie bags are left ripped apart on desks. And Meme22, hi! Hi, welcome. How are you doing? Everyone went there. Everyone took everything down. I mean, seriously. Pretty much everyone just came for the food and left. And talked over everything, just had conversations, yawned audibly. So far it's been an absolutely horrible event, but I'm still happy because at least no one is dead. Which would normally have happened by this point. It's still not very enjoyable right now. I was actually pretty happy with everything this game did until, this happened. Oh well. Oh well, since everyone was pretty much a douche, looks like this club won't grow too much more than it currently is. Even the kanji curtain looks tangled up and messy. The only students left are the ones who waved at Monica at the beginning. This is what Yuri had to see when reciting her poem. No wonder she didn't want to look up and face these people. Can I really do this now? How were the others able to finish their poems? I look at the clock. Only 10:20. Has it really only been 20 minutes? Taking a shaky breath, I begin to speak. Hi everyone. I'd like to take a second to apologize as well. Both to those checking out the club today and those who are already in it. But despite everything that's happened, I can say that I'm glad I joined since I got to meet so many amazing people. I believe that you guys will love it as much as I did too. Anyhow, I hope that you'll all enjoy Acquainted with the Night. I start reading and am struck once again by the beauty of the poem. The loneliness and isolation conveyed so accurately, I can relate a lot to these feelings. I won't be as good as the others at reciting, but I can only hope that I'll be able to do the poem justice. Thoughts of doing both the poet and the club proud strengthened my spirit, and I managed to fight through the depressing mood. The quiet of the classroom suits the lines of the poem well, and my recital seems to fly by rather quickly.
Excellent performance, Code. What a great way to round off the event.
As I step down from the stage, Monica stands up and addresses the room.
Thank you all for coming and staying. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. That's it for the scheduled recitations, but you guys are free to stay and hang out if you want.
There's an awkward silence for a few moments, then the remaining students start to stand up. Okay, another new character. I don't actually think we've seen this one yet either. But she has a name, which is interesting. Or is she the one we've seen before? I'm not sure. I think the one we saw before was blonde, so I don't think we know her. Which means I might have to do a different voice now, and I don't like that. New voice. I'm pretty much at the limit with my female voices already.
Hey Monica! And you too, Code? I didn't know you were in this club.
The girl standing before us is actually my homeroom's class representative, Sayori. Given that both she and Monica are class reps, they're probably friends. Yeah, I only joined about a week ago, so...
Ah, I see.
Yep.
Hey, by the way, you guys were treated was... the way you guys were treated was seriously awful.
It sounds so much like Sayori, doesn't it? But that's just generic female voice 1 pretty much for me, because I can't do them. I just can't.
It's fine. Thanks for staying. Either way, sorry about everything.
Oh,
either way, sorry about everything, Monica. I'll check out the club sometime.
She gives us a small, commiseratory smile, and I'm torn between wondering whether everyone's pitying us or sympathizing with us. They all start to file out of the classroom after a few more goodbyes. Monica keeps a strained smile plastered on her face. Meanwhile, Yuri is her head buried in her arms on the desk. In contrast, Natsuki's staring straight ahead, gritting her teeth, and Sayori looks down at her desk, picking at the spots on the tarnished wood. To say there's tension in the air would be a massive understatement. This is how it looks now. Jesus. Wow. And I'm guessing that the ones who were in the front were kind enough to, actually pack up their stuff, so most of everyone just came in here, while everyone was trying to perform poetry and was just chatting and yawning audibly and just eating the food and throwing their trash everywhere, and then left. And that's it. Talk about rude. There's silence in the room, made worse by the sense of awkwardness. No one knows what to say. No one expected the festival to end this way, but the impact is hitting us all. So, that could have gone better. My attempt at humor falls flat, and I immediately regret speaking. Natsuki gives me a dirty look, but Sayori smiles wanly. Meanwhile, it looks like Monika's face has finally fallen.
I don't understand. Why did we go so wrong, guys? We spent so long preparing for this, and after all our efforts.
For the first time, that outgoing, confident Monika always seemed to radiate has snuffed out. Outgoing confidence Monika always seemed to radiate has snuffed out. She clearly cared a lot about this festival, and I feel awful for her. I know, I don't get it either. I thought you guys all did such a good job as well. The decorations, the recitals. I'm sorry, Monika.
Don't worry about it, Code. It's not like it's your fault anyway.
She smiles weakly at me. Glancing around, I notice that Yuri and Natsuki seem particularly upset, with Yuri looking absolutely dejected and Natsuki steaming mad. This is your fault, Monika? I told you this was a stupid idea. Great, of course. Pin the blame on Monika. Why not? It's not like she feels bad enough anyway. None of us were even comfortable with doing this in the first place. Now look where it's landed us.
Excuse me? My fault? You all agreed to this. Pardon me for thinking it would actually go well. What's so wrong about that?
We only agreed to do it because we felt like you were forcing us? I was really hoping this wouldn't happen, given everyone's low moods and argument is the last thing we need. Great, so after Monika was pretty much the... well, pretty much the antagonist in the first game, now she seems pretty much like the victim in the mod, which is... ouch. So if she hadn't messed with everything, it still would have ended up horribly. Just, in a different way. In a thank God no one is dead way, but it still turned out horrible.
I didn't force anyone, Natsuki. You know how much this club means to me. I was just excited to show what we have to the rest of the school.
Yeah, because that was such a good idea, wasn't it?
I'm really starting to get sick of your constant sarcasm, you know. Why can't you just try being positive for once in your life?
Wow. I just paid attention to the music. They have an actual sad track in the game that's not a distorted version of the regular music. Because normally when something is dark, they usually just use very distorted versions of music. But yeah, this is... also, Monika being aggressive like this for once, just... it's something you never see from her. Because she's always calm and collected. Like you said, that facade is gone for the first time. Gee, it's funny you should say that, because I'm really starting to get sick of your self-righteousness, know-it-all attitude. We told you this was a bad idea, but no! You just had to insist on this, even though no one was happy with it.
It was for a reason. Look how much Code enjoys it here. Is it really so unreasonable to think that we could have found someone else like him? Or is that just too positive for you to even fathom?
This is awful. The other students were bad enough, but now Monika and Natsuki are going for each other's throats. Look how badly everyone was humiliated. How inconsiderate all of those... She struggles for a moment, her anger inhibiting her ability to speak. Those assholes were! To all of us! Oh shit, swear words. Am I gonna get age restricted? Oh no. It's not like I haven't cursed before. They didn't give a damn about anything we had to say. What did that one prick say? He was only here for the food? All that hard work just for what? Nothing. She angrily kicks one of the desks. The loud noise jolts Yuri, who looks up with tears in her eyes.
But please, Natsuki, can you calm the...
Don't tell me you're taking her side, Yuri. You had to experience the worst of it. I don't get why you're not mad either.
Natsuki, there's no point in being angry at Monika. She didn't want this to happen. She had no idea people would react this way. It's bad enough that the students were rude, but I really don't like fighting inside the club itself.
Yeah, but if Monika just listened to us when we said we were uncomfortable with the whole idea, this would have never happened. Monika sighs. This is the kind of conflict she generally leaves for Sayori to deal with. But in this case, Sayori looks too distraught to intervene.
Look, what you're not understanding is that sometimes you just have to take risks. Sure, this didn't go so well, but there was always a chance it wouldn't have ended up like this, and we could have had new members.
She turns to me.
I mean, you of all people can understand that the best, right, Code? You made the choice to come here. Look how much you enjoy it.
Oh, don't you try to suck up to him, Monika? Face it. You never listen to us, your club members, or take our opinions into account. Tell me I'm not alone in thinking that, Code. Oh great, now I have to choose a side. I really don't want to do this. I desperately look at Yuri and Sayori, but both look too upset to want to get involved. So I guess that's gonna be... I'm gonna have to say it, Monika is kind of in the right here. I mean, these people were horrible, and this ended up horrible, and everyone was uncomfortable with it, but she is right that it could have potentially gone well. It's not like anyone had any other idea of what to do for the festival. So am I really wrong in siding with Monika here? I don't think so. I think everyone else would say the same, right? I'm gonna side with Monika on this. Also, since I'm going the Yuri route, I just realized Yuri's on Monika's side as well, so siding with Monika is probably the best possible option anyway for this run. But even if Yuri hadn't directly stated she was on Monika's side, I probably still would have gone with Monika. So, yeah. Something tells me this is going to make me very unpopular with Natsuki. I brace myself for what's going to come next. Natsuki, come on, you know better than I do that Monika loves this club. It's only natural she'd want to share it with the rest of the school. Seriously? You're actually taking her side? I can't believe this. No, it's not like that. I'm not taking her side. It's just... Just what? What exactly... This is exactly what you're trying to do, Code. Don't try to backpedal.
Natsuki, that's not what he's trying to say. He's just...
Oh, of course you're jumping to his aid. Shut up, Monika. Monika looks furious, and for a moment I think Natsuki has finally gone too far. She closes her eyes and takes a deep breath, evidently trying to contain her anger. Jeez, Natsuki. Don't you think that was a little out of order? You didn't have to shout at her. What would you know? You haven't even been here for 5 days? Why is everyone making me out to be the bad guy here? Remember what Monika said? She'd make sure people weren't going to be rude during our performances? Wow, congratulations! You should have done a fantastic job with that. I mean, it's not like everyone wolf whistled at Yuri or anything. It's not like anyone wolf whistled at Yuri or anything, was it? Some enforcer you were. Her bitter sarcastic triad continues on, each point worsening the atmosphere. I'm the only one who can see this for what it is. Just Monika trying to use the club to boost her popularity. It sickens me. Think we're all just, what, some sort of pawns for you? She definitely did think so in the original, not gonna lie about it. Explains why I didn't even consider how reluctant we all were to do this. Why you let everyone just walk all over us?
Natsuki, you're just being ridiculous now. Why do you want to hurt all of us? It's not exactly been easy on me either.
Natsuki lets out a snort of derision. You? Oh, you of all people know about life being hard. Oh god, Monika blinks, looking like she's been slapped. Life being hard, I mean... Everyone in this club has a problem. So that much is true. And we never really had any... Monika never had any problem other than the fact that she felt alone because she knew everyone. It was a game and she was alone with that knowledge. But everyone else kind of been living hard lives from what I remember. It's easy for you, Monika. With your role as queen of the school, everyone liking you, all that crap. You have such a perfect life and all. Never having to defend your interests. Never having anyone ridicule you for the things you like. I share classes with those assholes, you know. And you can bet they're gonna have a lot of fun telling everyone else about it. How much of a loser we all are. And guess what? It's all because of you. I can practically hear the venom dripping from her words at this point. It's absolutely horrible. Face it? Sarah would be a better president than you could ever be. And with that, a sickening silence falls onto the room once more. Ouch. You know, Sayori actually did end up being club president for a short time. After Monika got deleted. But that didn't end well either, so... Actually, Sayori was much quicker to just delete pretty much yeet everyone else out of the way and just spend alone time with the protagonist. Monika took her time at least. So there's that. Oh god. But this time, it's a million times worse. The fire in Natsuki's eyes is blazing, and quiet sobs can be heard from Yuri. Zero is miserably hugging herself, looking completely lost for words. Monika is wearing a stony expression on her face, looking both enraged and heartbroken. The whole club waits for her to reply, but the bombshell Natsuki just dropped on her. But without a word, Monika turns on her heel and walks out of the door, the impact of Natsuki's words hanging in the air behind her. No one knows what to say. For a few moments, the heavy silence remains. We all exchange looks. Yuri is meekly wiping her eyes on her sleeve, and Sayori is standing around awkwardly. You know, I was hoping this game would be a lot, happier. And I mean, it doesn't have as much of the horror aspect, but it actually managed to be even more depressing than the original, I feel like. It abandoned the horror for the benefit of getting more depression in here. Which is... wow. I mean, I'm already impressed, and Act 2 has just barely started, so... I honestly, how can this story go on from this point? I'm very curious to continue, but yikes, this game is actually still pretty, well, saying dark, I guess it's still dark, but in a different way. Natsuki, on the other hand, is refusing to meet anyone's gaze. She looks like she's regretting her words a little bit.
Guys? Please, can we make sure that never happens again? It was awful. That was horrible to experience, to say the least.
Without Monika to restore order and keep things going, the club suddenly feels very aimless and disorganized.
Natsuki, I know you're going to be angry, but can you please find Monika and apologize?
But...
please? I know you're feeling very guilty over what you said. After all, you were a bit mean.
Natsuki grumbles something under her breath. It's okay. I'll go and find Monika. No offense, Natsuki, but I don't think she'd particularly want to see you right now. I wince as the words leave my mouth. There's probably a more diplomatic way of saying it. Natsuki glares at me. Fine. As I turn to leave, I silently motion to Yuri and Sayori to try and talk to Natsuki. Sayori nods and Yuri nervously swallows. Now, where would Monica go? She'll probably want somewhere quiet where she could be by herself, right? Which rules out the classrooms, the courtyard, and the cafeteria. The only two places coming to mind are the girls' toilets or the rooftop. Well, I'm hoping it isn't the girls' toilets. I make my way over to the staircase that leads up to the top, thinking about how this conversation is going to go. Again, new art, haven't seen this either. Will she even want to talk to me? She didn't even say anything as she left. Was she that upset? Although given what Natsuki said, I really wouldn't blame Monica. I guess there's only one way to find out. There's a door at the top of the stairs, which opens out to the rooftop. Bracing myself, I put my hand on the cool steel door handle and push the door open. Man, the view up here really is something. I shiver as the wind cuts through my blazer. It's a cold and desolate place, a fitting setting for what just happened. I look around and there she is. You know, the rooftop is actually also really nice here, I have to say this. Now, I can say this about my school, but while we did have a flat rooftop, there was actually no real way to get up there. Like, the only ways up there were through... Yeah, there were 2 staircases leading up, but those were both locked upstairs. So there was no way to actually get to the rooftop if you wanted to go there. And I can tell you it didn't look nearly as nice as this. So if anyone could tell me, if you're still going to school, or even if you're already well past that, did your school, or does your school did your school have like such a nice rooftop area to just hang out on? Because I don't feel like that's very common, at least where I'm from. Then again, it's not like I have much experience to say that, because it's not like I've been to multiple schools. I mean, I guess technically multiple, but it's not like I've been to tens or hundreds of schools, so I can't really confirm anything. Just my personal experience is such a nice rooftop. I haven't come by this, and it's actually kind of sad that I never got the chance to spend time on such a nice place, because as they said, the view from up there would be really nice, and it would probably be a nice place to chill if you just needed some time for yourself. Leaning slightly over the barriers at the edge of the rooftop, face turned away from me. Not a peep sound from her, not even when the wind slams the door behind me closed. Monica? No answer. I slowly approach her, making as little noise as possible in some illogical attempt to not scare her away. You, looked pretty upset, so I thought I'd come find you. I trail off mentally, berating myself at how weak that must have sounded. She stays completely still as I sidle up to her, leaning on the railing so that I can see her face. I don't know what I expected, but her expression is oddly calm. Monica?
Beautiful view, isn't it?
Yeah, you could say that. Is that the reason you came up here?
It's part of it. On days like this, the wind and the eternally stretching blue sky make me feel like I can go anywhere.
Wow, the fact that I read it as screeching. The eternally screeching blue sky. Imagine if the sky was constantly screeching. Wouldn't that be fun? But hey, blue sky is another potential title drop here.
It feels freeing. There's something comforting in the possibility of getting swallowed up by that blue, being able to simultaneously take control and lose control.
Monica, well, I know that you're obviously not okay, but I'm not asking if you're okay to know if you're okay. I'm going to ask if you're okay so that you can choose to talk to me about whatever you want to give you an opportunity to open up. So, are you okay? A thin smile appears on her face. Progress?
That's sweet of you, Code. To be honest, I didn't expect you to have any tact at all.
Me neither. Well, ain't that a perfect line to describe oneself?
Did you expect that I'd be crying up here? Contemplating suicide or something? Don't worry, I wouldn't do it just because of the festival.
Well, I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to cry it out.
You know, I actually thought that I would cry at this at first, but maybe I will cry it out. I guess I've come to terms with all the things that Natsuki said already.
She says such weighty words so casually. What Natsuki said wasn't true, Monica. I think that you're a fantastic president. I hasten to try to give less empty words after she arches an eyebrow at me. I'm not just saying that to cheer you up either. Remember what I said to you before the festival, during our little pep talk? She faintly nods. Well, I'm gonna reiterate it anyway, because it's important you're aware of how much I mean it. Thank you for everything. It took me in when I really needed it. Remember how I said earlier that I've been feeling lonely? She nods again. Well, that's how things have been for me recently. I haven't seen much of my parents lately, and most of my days I'd spent alone. All of that changed when I joined your club. You're also friendly and welcoming. Not once did you ever turn me away because I wasn't a poet. I mean, between you and me, I know my poems weren't the greatest.
You have a lot of potential, Code. I did like your poems.
Well, I'm glad you think so, but anyway, that's besides the point. You accepted me for who I was and was willing to help me. And more importantly, you've created something that 3 other girls hold dear to their hearts. Definitely the sign of a good president, if you ask me. Monica looks down for a moment as if composing herself and then meets my eyes with a smile.
Thank you, Code. It really means a lot. Like I said earlier, hearing all of this from a newcomer really does make me believe I've hit the goals I set for myself. All I wanted was to create a little haven that people could call home, no matter their writing ability.
Well, take it from someone who joined only a few days ago then. You've definitely succeeded. Also, had you not made this club, I would never have gotten to meet Yuri and Natsuki, or been able to hang out with Sayori again. Nor would I have gotten to get to know you better either, and that would have been a real shame, eh? I playfully nudge her, receiving a nudge back. This past week has probably been the happiest I've ever been in a long, long time. And that's all thanks to you. We share a smile, one that I'm now sure is completely genuine on Monica's part.
I don't really know what to say.
It's okay, seriously, I just wanted you to know how I feel. Anyway, Natsuki was a bit out of order with her words, but honestly I don't think she meant it. I guess tensions were just running really high, and you know better than I do how fiery she can be.
Yeah, I know she was just really upset, but hearing those words, it hit pretty deep, you know. I tried telling myself not to take her words too hard because I knew she was just upset. But it was that line about Sayori being a better president. I don't know why. It got under my skin so much.
It was just spite, Monica. People say awful things that they don't mean when they're really upset. Sayori and Yuri are talking to her now, and I get the feeling she wants to apologize but just doesn't know how to.
Well, that's definitely something Natsuki needs to work on. By the way, thank you for making the effort to find me. It really means a lot.
I'm suddenly struck by the situation I'm in. I'm here, alone, with one of the most attractive popular girls of the year, having a heart-to-heart. Well, I guess that would be an interesting situation. Imagine if someone was seeing this and just took a picture and just started blackmailing us. Wouldn't that be fun? Probably a situation most of the other guys in the school would kill to be in. My face heats up a little as I process the heartfelt, rather vulnerable scene we're both in. You're welcome, Monica. Nothing to thank me for. I sheepishly scratched the back of my neck. We should go and find the others, though. don't want them to worry or anything. We stand up and make our way back to the door.
I hope so. It wasn't exactly nice to be told you have a perfect life and that you've never experienced any difficulties.
As we make our way back to the club room, I just hope Sayori and Yuri were able to talk some sense into Natsuki. The last thing we need is another argument. She's silent as we wordlessly make our way back to the classroom. We finally arrive. I squeeze her shoulder as she takes a deep breath and walks in. Where's Natsuki? She didn't leave, right? She's just not talking right now.
Ah, they're back!
Yeah, okay, she just wasn't on screen. Back to depressing music. Yuri and Sayori hurry over to us, looking worriedly at Monika. Meanwhile, Natsuki remains standing off to the side by herself, arms folded.
Hey guys, I'm alright, really. Taking some time helped me clear my head, and I'm feeling a lot better now. Not to mention, Code was a real help too. I'm relieved. It was a frightening prospect to consider losing our club president. Yeah, and now that everyone's calmed down, we can talk things out. Natsuki, why don't you come join us?
Fine. She drags her feet as she makes her way over to us. I notice Monika fidgeting with the hem of her skirt and smile reassuringly at her. Okay, so I'm here. Natsuki's eyes start up to beat Monika's for just a second. So, there's an awkward silence as Natsuki's voice trails off. Sayori raises an eyebrow at her, causing the smaller girl to return with a glare.
I think what Natsuki means to say is that she just said all those things in the heat of the moment. A crime of passion, as it were.
Hey, jeez, I can speak for myself, okay? She says that, but... Alright, I'm just gonna get this over with. What I wanted to say was that I didn't mean it when I said you were a bad president. I mean, I guess it's pretty clear that you care a lot about the club. Sayori nods rigorously at her, egging her on. It's just that those jokes pissed me off so much that I blurted out some random things. I needed to vent. Well, I won't lie, it does seem like you always get special treatment because you're so popular, Monika. But then again, I wouldn't know what you've gone through. You're on a totally different level from the rest of us.
Natsuki.
Anyway, that's all, I guess. I've always seen you as a friend, and I hope that you'll still be able to see me as one too. There's tension in the air once again as we anxiously wait for Monika's response. Natsuki shifts back and forth on her feet, looking like she almost wants to run away from the scene.
Thank you for saying that. I'm not going to lie either. Your comment doubting my presidency hurt. It's definitely not true though. You're a great president, Monika.
Yeah, you brought us all together. Without you, we wouldn't have become friends, and I wouldn't have been introduced to the world of poetry.
I agree. It's an amazing feeling to be able to talk to like-minded individuals.
Yeah, as far as presidents go, we could definitely do worse. And so, what if you nudged us into the festival? I guess it's only normal for the president of all people to want the club to grow.
Thanks, guys. I guess that after all that, I have no choice but to accept Natsuki's apology, eh?
I mean, it'd be really great if you could.
That's certainly an understatement.
We all turn to look at Yuri, surprised at the glimpse of a humorous side to her.
Did I say something strange? Oh, you're so you're so funny. Eh?
I let out a breath I'd been subconsciously holding. It seems like everything's turned out well in the end. Or at least, as well as they can, given the circumstances.
Okay, everyone.
And with that catchphrase, everything seems alright in the world once again.
I totally forgot to mention this, but we still need to clean everything up. I'm sure that with all us working together, though, it won't take that long to to do.
I'm assuming everyone's just going to skip the festival and go home after this.
I'm pretty tired after all the stuff that just happened. So am I.
Same here.
I wish I could leave too, but I have a shift in my class's cafe after this. It's alright though. Everyone get moving, then, so you can all go home.
Everyone starts cleaning up the room, myself included. Yuri and Natsuki start packing up the essential oil set and cupcake trays respectively. Meanwhile, Sayori, Monica and I pick up everything left on the ground and desks. It's like we're erasing all trace that the festival ever happened in here. Although, I can't help but think that there's still lingering tension in the air, despite Monica's cheery expression. I have a feeling that Monica might just be putting the club before herself in this case. But the only thing I can do now is hope that everyone will feel better tomorrow. It'll be pretty nice to get home from school early for a change and be able to relax. Although now that I think about it, I really only have anime and video games to look forward to. I guess that everything that's happened today is going to be plaguing my mind tonight. What a day. Just wow. Pretty basic alert. Morning already? I groan as I fumble for the alarm clock. Man, I just feel like sinking to the depths of my bed. And we didn't even need to write a poem this time. Is it natural to feel this tired after waking up? What's the time anyway? 10:30. Holy crap. And with that panic, I'm just gonna save it here, because believe it or not, I feel like ending the stream right now. Now, as I've said before, I'm gonna probably keep my streams shorter than they were used to, and I hope today's stream wasn't laggy, right? I just noticed that, I just remembered that the previous stream was laggy as badonkers. Well, I guess it's just Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion that's laggy. So yeah, as I've said in the previous stream that probably no one watched because of how bad it was lagging, I'm probably not gonna be streaming Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion anymore. Simply because it worked well on the first stream, but since every time I opened it up it wanted to install a new feature for Windows, so, I eventually decided before I do the second stream I'm just gonna install that. And that caused it to have horrible frame drops whenever I was streaming. It was running perfectly smooth for me, but the stream was looking absolutely horrible, so I called it off after just 20 minutes because I just couldn't get it to get fixed. Every time I clicked back into the game, the stream started dropping frames like it was nobody's business. So yeah, no more Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. But we played through it anyway. We were just missing some alternate endings, and I checked them out, so I might as well talk about them. It was pretty much what you expected. It was just doing the ritual. It was actually kind of interesting seeing what needs to be done, because doing the ritual you have to summon every other specimen of the main game and release those, and afterwards pretty much all the spirits go free except for the evil ones, and the stupid Hellgate stays closed. So yeah, figured I might as well mention this before ending the stream and reiterate why I sadly won't be playing that game anymore. Then again, had this previous stream run smoothly, it would have been the last one anyway. So yeah, no need to worry about that. But yeah, what's gonna be the next stream? Well, I could just say you can look forward to it, because I'm of course gonna start a new game, and I am gonna say, since I recently had a list of games to choose from as to what I might play, I'm just gonna say it is one game from that list. Now which one, I'm not gonna say. You might be able to guess, but I'm just gonna say look forward to it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the future. Until then, bye!